flower bouquet.
Okay, thank you.
Now I request our director to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Director General, Dr. N. Kalaiselvi. I'm really happy to see all of you here in the audience, here to mark this historic moment and to participate in the next part of this program. Dr. Kalaiselvi has been with us for more than an hour now, and she's been listening to the activities, the R&D that happens. She's been listening to the type of work that happens at CDRI and now is well acquainted. I'll now request her to address the audience.
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and good evening to all of you. So, my CSIR family friends, I'm really excited for the second time on the same day because this lab, maybe I'm just reaching CDRI only today, as told by Radha just few minutes back. I reached this lab maybe 30 years back through my PhD samples. I was doing my PhD in the year 1990 to 94, 4 years. And throughout these 4 years, at least during a period of 2 active years, I used to send all my synthetic organic chemist I was at that time. Now don't ask me what am I don't know. Okay, so I used to send all the laboratory synthesized samples, organic compounds to CDRI, mainly for CHNO analysis. And this is how my research, therefore I just want to say big thanks to CDRI first of all. So I just want to start my address with that acknowledgement. Just because I got my PhD, I think I'm able to stand here, and to qualify myself to that PhD, this lab has helped me. So I will ever remember this lab in a very special way for the kind of research help or the scientific help that was rendered from this laboratory to maybe thousands of or several thousands of students, in which I am also a member. So now coming to today's program, I don't have any great agenda rather than talking to you, seeing all the faces, and this is very colorful. And all of you are really decorating as audience, and I never thought that I'll be having these many audience, and now my happiness is multifold. And I'm a person, I always get enthused with many a times a number of people, many a times with a kind of involvement also. And this lab is always making history because the first women director of CSIR was from this laboratory. Am I right? Or second one? Second one. First one was then IICT. Okay. So I became the third one, but then also you are senior to me in that way also. So I was the third women director in the CSIR family, and before me was Madhu. So Dr. Madhu was the second one. So friends, I am really happy to see that you are in a new campus. Campus is so beautiful. Campus is really rich, not only in terms of its infrastructure, but also with respect to the expertise and capabilities. Because 1 hour Radha took me to heaven, I should say, because this is not an exaggerated version. I'm really sharing it from the bottom of my heart. She made me to understand that what are the areas in which this laboratory is doing R&D. And I think you are doing a very, very great job, wonderful job, a great service to the nation. Knowingly or unknowingly, you are all playing a very, very important role, especially in terms of CSIR as well as in the development of the country. COVID gave us a lot of new lessons. I think that time you yourself would have realized that, oh, do I have this much potential? So this kind of a self-realization, to have that kind of a realization, we were expecting a pandemic to really attack us. Friends, we are living in one particular era where we have seen minimum of one pandemic. People are telling one more will come, should not come. So one pandemic and two important wars. So whenever we come through or when we run through difficult times, I think we will get many good lessons. So this is how COVID also taught us many good lessons that really helped us to understand that we are capable in a way which we are thinking that I can only run 10 miles, whereas COVID made me to understand that no, I can run 70 miles. 7x time I have the potential. This is how we all came to know. Not only CDRI, many engineering labs also rose to the occasion. They repurposed many of the technologies. Then they also wanted to be in the race. Evening 6:30 meeting, many directors said, why I was not called? Because my lab is also doing work. This is how we from all engineering labs also, by the time I was in CSIR-CDRI, therefore it comes under engineering lab, we were also showing a lot of interest. We tried our level best. We also customized a few of the technologies and we also tried to do justice in the common role of mitigating the pandemic. So therefore this particular lab, obviously you were the leader at that particular point of time and you really played a very critically important role for which CSIR will be ever thankful to CDRI. And when I was told that the kind of facility that is available and the kind of augmentation that you are planning for, it's really, I feel that it is noteworthy. To what extent CSIR will support all these facility upgradation or augmentation, definitely I will give a very serious thought, because today is an eye-opening day for me, because I'm able to understand that these many things are there. And during my travel with Dr. Radha, your director, from IITR to CDRI, she made me to understand many interesting points. She made me to understand what are the different stages, what are the different steps which are critically important, which will be time consuming, which will be requiring some additional financial support, which also requires some amount of tolerance and patience from DG also and from other labs also. So if at all you give me that kind of a timeline, I along with my team will come up with a kind of a success story. This is what she wanted me to understand. Am I right, Radha? Yes. So what she made me to understand was, please don't get carried away by people saying that biology labs are taking more money, biology labs are taking more time. She never told that one, but that is the underlying point. I got her mind-wise. Because all the time, no, she never talked about money, but all the time, no, she was repeatedly making me to understand whatever she says. Finally, she will say, it's a big game and it's a time-consuming effort. My people are working. I think you all should be very proud to have such a great leader like Radha. And no, many a times, friends, I always say, see, even when you said that, even in the 80 years of the history of CSIR, Dr. Kalaiselvi has become the first women DG of CSIR. What I feel is, this is not Kalaiselvi who has done something. You have to really thank the system. Why? Because system is recognizing someone, maybe at a later stage, no problem, but anyway you are getting recognized. What I am telling is, in life, we need 2-3 things very essentially. One is trust and confidence, and second thing is patience and tolerance. If at all we have these things, definitely we will be identified, we will be recognized, we will be honored, we will be celebrated. Even if nobody is celebrating, you can celebrate yourself. What is wrong in that? The Honorable Minister of Science and Technology used to say, let us also make noise. This is the word he used to say. Why should you want A to appreciate you, B to appreciate you, C to recognize you? You pat on your shoulder and say that I'm great, so let us make some noise, he will say. And whenever some kind of a drug is getting developed and when it is getting introduced, he will say that companies will come, companies will, definitely they are the launch vehicle, pharma companies and industries, they are the launch vehicle. They only help us to reach the market. They get a lot of visibility, but behind the screen, how much is the science and technology? Who is at the backdrop? Are you getting celebrated for that? Don't worry that you are not getting celebrated. We are here to celebrate. Therefore, let us make few functions. Let us celebrate. Let us make some noise. Let us tweet. Let us publish. Let us communicate. And let us make the world to understand that, yes, it contains science and technology also. So friends, let us not worry about that, whether I am getting celebrated or not. I should be able to thoroughly enjoy whatever small things I do. So when I am talking here, I should 200% adore the way I talk, and I should 200% believe that you are all listening to me. Even though somebody will not be listening, but I should strongly believe that, yes, all are listening to me. So this kind of a confidence, no, if I am looking at you with the 200% confidence, now I am forcing you to look at me with the same kind of confidence. Because again, Newton's third law. Whatever you put in as action, so definitely you will get a reaction. So believe in science. You need not believe in any other thing. So science will never disappoint you. Science will never cheat you. Science will never discourage you. Science will never demotivate you. And you are in a paradise, because somebody was asking me after planting, ma'am, how do you enjoy your daily life? I said, absolutely. I'm enjoying daily life more than Delhiites. I don't know for what reason. Therefore, I told him the formula is very simple. Mantra is very simple. Wherever I am, I start feeling, I start telling, I start experiencing that this is my paradise. You ask any of my CSIR friends, you ask any of my PhD students or project fellows, I used to tell them only one thing. This is my paradise. The moment you enter into my lab, I used to tell my students, the moment you enter into my lab, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, I have already accepted you as my family member. You are my second family member. So I started believing you, you also start believing me. I have decided that I will share each and everything with you in a transparent manner. You also be so transparent with me. I believe that you can do, also you believe that I will also really help you as a guide or a supervisor or as a project leader. So this kind of a bonding and a binding, if you are able to create, no, I think that is where most of the problems are getting solved. And also I used to tell my students also, you believe that if you are able to do something from here, you will be able to do everything after some time wherever you go. Because you have survived in this system, and you have experienced the system, and once you experience a system like CSIR, I think that will give you lot of exposure for lot of merits, one or two experiences also. I won't call it as bitter or difficulties or challenges. So whenever I want to avoid all these words, rather you can just call them as challenges or learnings or experiences. Because an 80-year-old organization, you can expect a lot of comfort zone. I was even telling Radha also, I wish to recall our Dr. Mashelkar's word only. We, the scientific fraternity, we do whatever we want to do, and at the end of the day, we are being paid for whatever we want to do only. This kind of a freedom, where can you expect? The teacher cannot go to the class and teach whatever she wants to teach. There is a particular syllabus, there is a notes of lesson, and unit wise you have to take 1 mark question, 2 marks question, 5 mark question, result, so many things are there, and you cannot go away from the syllabus. If at all you are going away from the syllabus, maybe 1 or 2 students will become your fans, but the management will not like you, and you cannot be a successful teacher. So it is applicable to each and every job. So you cannot do whatever you want to do, but this is one area, this is one system, this is one arrangement, this is one organization wherein whatever you feel like doing in science and technology, underline in science and technology, whatever you feel like doing, yeah, that is more important. So whatever you feel like doing in science and technology, you are free to do that. Therefore, now Radha may look at me in a different way. Can they do whatever they want to do? What I am telling is, you can do that also. I am coming to the very important point now. You can do whatever you want to do if it is 200% exactly matching with the interest of the laboratory, you only do whatever you want to do. If at all you want to do something wherein the institute is not at all having any kind of a taste, then in such case also, Radha should forgive me, excuse me, still you can do that. But what you can do is, you use it only for publication, but not for your life. So when you are getting your appointment, either in the form of a permanent staff or as a temporary fellow, whatever, you are expected to do something. So you do whatever is expected to be done by you, you do that. But apart from that, nobody is doing any kind of a policing that, whether you are doing anything extra. Nobody is going to ask you that. Then also, even if somebody is asking, why are you staying in the laboratory even after 10 o'clock? I think if I were the person, I will be happily accepting. I will be offering even a coffee also to you. So then also you can say that apart from this work, I am doing this work also. Many a times you will get appreciated only. That's why I am telling this particular area and this particular system and this particular organization of CSIR, that really gives us this kind of a freedom, and that is why I am telling it is not an exaggerated version. That is why I used to say, now also I am telling, I will keep on telling that this is my paradise, this should be your paradise also. Yes or not? Yes or no? Yes, no? Voice is so feeble. Okay, good. Bharat Mata ki Jai, kind. Yes, yes. So why I am telling is, please start celebrating the system in which you are. Many a times we always say that I am so proud that my parents are so affectionate to me. So in the same way you can say, I am so proud that my organization is the number one organization. And I always say, even I was sharing with Radha also, if at all some small shortcomings and here and there are there, you please don't put a lens and magnify it. For example, when it comes to work, one simple example I will say, when it comes to salary, we always have a temptation to look at DRDO is giving all these things. But what is the way DRDO is working? And you will say 65 is the retirement age of this one. But what I am telling is, you should not ask. I am not telling that one. I will be the first one to fight for all these things. I will be the first one to ask all these things. But then this is what I am telling. Tolerance, patience, some wait time. You please give that kind of a system. Believe that DG is your DG. DG is meant for you only. DG is meant to do good things only for all the laboratories, starting from group 1 to group 4, and also to the research scholars, also to the temporary project fellows, and all those who are directly or indirectly attached to CSIR. Why? Because even if I am doing something, I never will claim that it is done by Kalaiselvi. No, it is done by the system. I am just an instrument. I am instrumental. I am happen to do that. That's all. So even today, the foundation stone which was laid by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, you just got it from your old campus, and today they asked me to unveil. I was just touching it because I wanted to touch and feel. Because by the time the foundation stone was laid, I was not even born. But today I am able to touch and feel. That means system is giving an opportunity for which I have to wait for 56 years after my birth. So this is how now you should always tell to yourself, we have to do some good job, and whatever you are doing, it should be perfectly relevant to the institute. Why I am telling is, please think about 2-3 points which are very essential. I'm just looking at number of people who are maybe less than 40 years. Friends, there are 2 points which are very important. Recently we had one very interesting brainstorming where we discussed about this particular point. Today we are lifting our collar up and we are telling that India is rich with human resource. People below 40, we are the richest, and therefore we are going to rock the entire world. So next, this century is definitely going to be the century of India. All these things we say, but what I am asking you is, this below 40 age group youth power, how long this will remain as youth? maybe for another 10 years. Meaning is in terms of energy, efficiency, their interest, their contribution, their work culture, their attitude, their mental stability, all these things will be there in the same tempo or with an increased tempo for next 2 decades or max next 3 decades. Meaning is by 2047, definitely India should become the developed country. Definitely it should become. You may think that no, maybe for a stage orator, no, all these points, no, this is only number. She wanted to get some class and she was telling, no friends, no, it is not like that. I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, and it is the fact also. If you start thinking in this direction, if we are not going to make use of this under 40 youth power for the next 2 to 3 decades, after that we will not have this kind of a manpower. We cannot ask for any country for any help. Then at that point of time we will be thinking that, oh, now also I missed the bus. How many times we will say all these things? In our lifetime there should be only one time that we should get a realization. So this particular point, all of us should take it very, very seriously in our mind. I always say, I always believe that last century was not in favor of India. It was the century of United States of America. But this century is going to be the century of India, for which you and I should really make it to happen. Therefore, how India can become a developed country? You can ask me, why should I worry about India? If at all I am getting some job, and if at all I am very happy, good salary, I am having a good house to live and a good family, that's all, my life is over, I want to retire, I just want to take some international tour and I want to settle down. Friends, no, this is not life at all. This is one part of life. But apart from that, we should think. We should think in a much more deeper way. I am not asking you to go to the battle. I am not going to ask you to join the army. I am not going to ask you to do any tough task. For a country to improve itself, for a country to progress itself, for a country to really cross the difficult zones and reach the apex level of progress, each and every one of us should have our own contributions. So whenever the country is taking even one step ahead, you and I should have a reason to celebrate. I just asked CDRI the same question. When they were talking about this Chaya and Saheli and all, I said that, so the government freely distributed to all the citizens. I said that all of them would have been expressing their happiness. But how many of them are aware that CDRI is behind that? They may not be knowing. Let them not know all these things. But at least we have a reason to celebrate ourselves that whatever the country is today experiencing, where CDRI is having a footprint. So this is where I am telling, whether it is drug or pharma or toxicology, whatever, wherever you can do, in whichever way you can do, please do your the best contribution. Any project assistant, any research scholar, any scientist, any technical officer, any horticulture person, any driver, any MTS can really help CSIR both directly as well as indirectly. So whenever a director is at a comfort zone, whenever a scientist is capable of performing, it gives two indications. Number one, the director or the scientist is self-motivated or having a push from backward, whatever. So he or she is self-motivated. Second thing is the ecosystem or the support system is also helping them appropriately. So that's why I am telling CSIR is fully aware of the fact. So I am fully aware of the fact that the kind of a ecosystem, the kind of a support system, the kind of encouragement, the kind of recognition that will be expected from the other side is known to me. Why? Because I also grew with CSIR system. I started my career as scientist. So I know what CSIR is from the scientist perspective. Then I became a mid-career leader. Then I became the director. Therefore, I experienced CSIR at different levels, and therefore I know what is the expectation from this side. It is only today I am standing on the other side. Till yesterday I was also there, one among you only. Therefore, very easily, without even you say A to Z, the moment you start telling A, B, C, I can think about W, X, Y, Z. Because very easily I can understand your mind voice. I can very easily understand all your expectations empathetically. And therefore, I can tell you one thing, without you giving a lot of stress for me. Stress means not mental stress. I am a person who will not undergo any kind of a stress, please believe. Truly I am telling. Even in my previous lab, people, my close friends used to say, I will say no, I will never get heart attack. Then my close friends, what would be the answer? Please ensure others are not getting because of you. In a lighter way. Now what I am telling is, because I am so clear that what is expected from the other end, and also please understand, you should also understand, I have one purse and the purse is having some amount of money, that also you should understand. Actually in an interview somebody was asking, CSIR is not given enough money, how are you going to manage S&T? I said, don't worry, India is one country where science, technology are important. Above all, culture is also important. Values in life is also important. We believe in the family culture. In a family, if the father is earning only this much, the child may sometimes cry for certain things. The father will try his level best, even beyond his capability also. He will try to fulfill the requirement of the child. But even after that, if the father is not able to fulfill the requirement of the child, then it becomes the duty of the child to understand that even now I have a lovable father. My father is really, heart to heart, he wants to really encourage me, but unfortunately my father is not blessed with enough money. The moment my father earns money, he will be the first one to think about my comfort zone. We are all kids of this nation. So, please understand. You should know the art of living with money, with less money, with lesser money, with more money also. Without money, I am not telling. Definitely. CSIR will not leave us in such a kind of a bad situation. No, nothing of that sort. That disaster will not happen. Don't worry. So what I am telling is, sometimes I will give you 100 rupees. Sometimes I will be able to give you only 10 rupees. But please believe that I also, heart and heart, I want to give you another 90 rupees. If not in the month of February, at least in the month of March, I will give you. Please don't write, ma'am, you said 90 rupees you give in the month of March. Now today is March 31st. Before 12 o'clock, will you deposit it? No. What I am telling is, this is kind of a confidence building, trust building. So whatever I am telling, I am really telling from the bottom of my heart, and I am talking only the facts. Nothing is exaggerated, nothing is magnified. Now coming back to our culture again. So these are all your expectations, and CSIR is fully aware of all your needs, wherever money is required, wherever facility is required, wherever support is required, wherever some kind of a connect with ministries are required, if at all some industry connect is also required, or even if you want us to connect yourself with some corporate social responsibility related fundraising, everywhere we will be doing our the best. You may not be knowing to how many companies and industries. I'm not talking with any company as one-to-one. I made it as a policy. Whenever any company person is entering into my loop, immediately I'll just rope in somebody. I'll just talk only in presence of one more person. It may be our admin officer, or it may be RP Singh, or it may be Vibha, or whomsoever. But what I am telling them is, if at all you want to really get some kind of a homegrown capability, because now country is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. And when we are talking about self-reliant India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, definitely you need homegrown capabilities as next generation leaders. Therefore, what companies and industries can do is, now itself you identify maybe every year 5 students you sponsor to ACSIR. You give them the minimum amount, whatever is given by CSIR in the name of fellowship. You just call them as industry fellowship holders or whatever. You just support them, and you make them to get their training in the area in which you want your expansion after 4 years. And after 4 years, no, today they are my students, and after 4 years they are going to be your staff members. Therefore, this kind of a smooth transformation of technology is happening, for which it's a win-win situation to you as well as to me. It's a very simple formula. Now luckily now we got one ACSIR director who is also from a 200% academic background. I told him also, I asked him to write to many industries. So this is how, I am also getting myself involved in number of fundraising programs. And if at all, the moment we realize that this much is the money that could be given by the government of India under grants, I started my exercise 3 months back itself, because after getting the clue that you will not get not big money, then what I did was, I started meeting different secretaries with different ministries and secretaries. Then we all really realized that if all of us pull in some amount of money, if at all some ministry, Earth Sciences can put in some money, some ICMR put in some money in different areas, then I think it is going to be a win-win situation to both the departments and both the ministries. So this is how the fund related requirements could be very, very easily addressed. So wherever we can join hands with ICMR, wherever we can join hands with other ministries, wherever we can join hands with the funding supporters like DST, definitely CSIR will help you in a big way, by means of which somehow or other you will get the funding support. And when Radha was telling that DST has already told that they will give me 10 crore, remaining 50% should be given by CSIR. I said, then why do you ask for 10 crore? You ask them only 20 crore. Initially you tell them you need 40 crore and 20 crore let them give, and you can make CSIR to make it a zero. Then I told her, again in DST, our good friend, our CSIR family person, Chandra is only sitting, therefore I can tell. So wherever you go, friends, you can see a CSIR person. Today you just look at the ministry, look at the leadership. In the country, if you take whether it is the national leadership, because once we had even a scientist at a very, very important position, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was the president of this country also. Now let us not worry about the president position. I am talking about the ministry. If you just think about the ministry, even DBT is also having a CSIR person, DST is having CSIR person, CSIR is having CSIR person. So everywhere you can see a CSIR person, and when you go and talk to MOES Dr. Ravichandran, he will say, I also belong to your family only, because when I was doing PhD, I was a recipient of CSIR fellowship. Even when you are just in the flight and when you just shake hands with someone and say, he may be from some company, XY company, or he may be a great corporate, he may be a great leader, he may be a policy maker, or he may be XYZ. End of the day, what he will say is, ma'am, include me also in your family, because I also got CSIR fellowship at some point of time. So this is how now CSIR is giving you a kind of recognition, a kind of identity in the society. Please touch your heart and feel. Have you not been a person or an employee of CSIR? Will you get this kind of a societal recognition? Please think, all of you, please think for 1 minute. CSIR has given us this kind of an identity in the society. The moment you show your ID card, many a times people give a smile at least. So that is the power of CSIR. Therefore, please feel proud and also start recognizing that CSIR is only giving you all kinds of comfort. And CSIR is giving you some kind of a campus living. Therefore, you need not worry about your campus living, and you need not worry about house building, this, that, all your domestic requirements. CSIR, by being a CSIR employee, all your children's education are already taken care of. Because definitely KV, whichever KV you want, definitely you will be given red carpet welcome, and your kids will be given admission. So your domestic requirements are taken into consideration, kids' education taken into consideration, medical facility is also taken into consideration, and throughout your lifetime you will get a good salary. After retirement you will get a good pension. After retirement also you are eligible for medical facility. Friends, under the sun and on the earth, what else you require? I don't know. I think this much is required. At a time you can sleep in one house, you can wear only one dress, you can think many things, but you can do only one thing. Now I can only talk. So at a time, no, you can do only one thing, and your requirements are always ought to be minimum, or at least make it as minimum. Then you can really lead a very, very, very happy life, and CSIR is already taking care of your life for your end-to-end supply chain or value chain or life chain, whatever you call. Therefore, if at all you want to do something in this particular time. Every day you tell to nature, or tell to God, or tell to your good friend at least, or tell to your another CSIR employee that we are gifted. Please start chanting this mantra, we are gifted, we are gifted, we are gifted. If you start believing all these things, definitely you will grow further and further. And you people are coming up with a kind of drug development. I need not say to what extent physical health and mental health are correlated. And I was totally fascinated when something related to nose and brain connection they were talking about. Then I was also telling them, can you just make some kind of an aroma or whatever, by means of which you can make DG to be in the comfortable zone for 1 hour, so that I know why you are clapping. I'm already there in my comfortable zone only. Okay. So what I'm telling is my happiness index can be increased. Now, end of the day, whatever maximum I can give you is nothing but, if at all I'm able to give you a small amount of happiness to you, I think that will give me much more happiness. So friends, please believe in all these things. By way of doing science, you may be thinking that you are doing it as a job. Sometimes you may be thinking that you are doing it for your PhD thesis. Sometimes you will be thinking that you are doing it for your salary. But apart from that, you are addressing the requirements of the society. You are addressing the requirements of this community. You are addressing the requirements of this nation, maybe in a very, 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 very critical way. And therefore, please believe in yourself, believe in others, believe in the country, believe in CSIR system also. Then I think every moment is going to be a cherishable moment to you. When I entered, all of you were telling historic event, then I was little worried. Then only I realized that it is historic not because DG is there, it is the last day of 1 week, 1 lab program. Then only I got relieved. Why? Because CSIR is doing so much, but the society is not aware of it. Therefore, our Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, he came up with a kind of a very, very important information, or I would say this is a kind of a movement that 1 week, 1 lab. Now, we are able to showcase that what we are, and we are finding a reason to showcase why we are doing all these things, and we are now getting our connects strengthened in different areas. And I think by doing all these things, within another 1 year, I think CSIR's popularity, CSIR's visibility, and CSIR's value in the entire country, that will be really felt largely by the citizens. And therefore, friends, system has already recognized you, because country is now celebrating science, country is celebrating researchers. Don't worry about your funds, don't worry about your facilities. All these things can be augmented, not only by DG and not only by Radha Rangarajan, who is the director, but also by you. You can also write new proposals, you can create new connects, you can talk to people, you can write to the great leaders, you can write to your good friends, by means of which you can also be a fundraiser. So raise funds, work in a very, very different way from others, then showcase your, I would say, unique identity, then I think CDRI will be always celebrated. With these few words, once again, I should really thank Radha for having given me this golden opportunity. Why? Because this gallery is really giving me a great fulfillment to me, because by looking at each and every one of you, my ray of hope is really going up and up. So just believe in yourself, believe in the system, do your work, and I am there, system is there to help you. All the very best to all of you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such a motivational address for our staff and students. And I feel very proud to mention here to the audience that our DG has received the Most Inspiring Scientist Award. So for the today's program, we have 2 joint research agreements and a technology transfer document that is going to be signed in presence of our Honorable DG. So for the first agreement, I invite Dr. Chiranjeev Mukhopadhyay and Dr. Vandana, the team members from Manipal Academy of Higher Sciences, Manipal, Head BD, and Dr. Siddharth Chopra from CSIR-CDRI to come up on stage for signing the document for conducting joint research in the area of antimicrobial resistance and recurrent urinary tract infections in postmenopausal women. So let us capture this memorable moment with a group photograph. For the second agreement, I invite Dr. Ashok Swain and Dr. Dinesh Ghadigaonkar from Themis Medicare, Mumbai, Head BD Unit, Dr. R.S. Bhatta, the PI from CSIR-CDRI, to come up on stage for signing the agreement for pharmacokinetic study of alpha-beta artether formulation. As you are aware that in the past, CDRI has discovered the alpha-beta artether drug for treatment of malaria, which is being exported to several countries and has saved millions of lives. The new formulation is being developed to improve efficacy and patient compliance. For the technology transfer, I invite Dr. Atul Goyal from CSIR-CDRI, Dr. Shraddha Goenka from Biotech Desk Private Limited, Hyderabad, to come up on stage. Dr. Atul Goyal and his team has developed a new fluorescent quencher, Unique Q, for use in RT-PCR with applications in biomedical research and diagnostics. The technology is now being transferred to Biotech Desk Private Limited, Hyderabad. This historic moment also needs to be captured, and I request the entire team to come up on stage for the group photograph. Now, I request our director, who is also the president of Staff Club, to felicitate the DG with a shawl, a book, and a handmade sketch prepared by our colleague, Mr. Ravindranath Londhe, for this occasion.
I never thought that Kalaiselvi will be given to Kalaiselvi. That is number one. And number two, I wrote a mail to all directors, strongly indicating that I can understand your love, affection, recognition, respect, whatever. Please avoid giving me any kind of a memento. So morning also, IITR Bhaskar, he said, I'm giving you only a book. Now she is now coming up with a new trick, CDRI Staff Club. Meaning is, it is not the institute. No, friends, what I'm telling is, more than all these things, because I am a strong believer, I'm standing here just because of your support, and that alone is the great treasure for me. Thank you so much for all the love, affection, and the admiration. Thank you.
Thank you once again, ma'am. Now I request our Honorable DG and Director to kindly join the audience for a group photograph with the entire staff and guests. We'll go downstairs. Yeah. On behalf of CSIR-CDRI, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable DG and Secretary DSIR, Dr. N. Kalaiselvi, who, despite her very busy schedule, agreed to visit CDRI and inspire us. We also thank our academic collaborators from Mahipal Academy of Higher Sciences and our industry collaborators from Themis Medicare and Biotech Desk Private Limited, Hyderabad. I also extend my special thanks to people from press and media for visiting us on this occasion. Now, the DG CSIR and the director will proceed for a closed-door meeting in the director's office. Thank you, ma'am, once again. I request the audience to stay in the auditorium for a while. Now I announce that you can all join for tea and snacks outside the auditorium. Thank you so much once again.